Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all the crazy things that this guy seems to step on. Happy, June 3rd. It is a Thursday. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about your transition from working your job to actually doing voiceover and how to manage your time in between to be successful. I think this is really important. A lot of people have that question. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started, I just want to talk to you about real quick the course of the week over at VOsJourney.com. The course of the week is the Fiverr course, my Fiverr course. It's how to make $20,000 on Fiverr for voiceover. It's a fantastic course. It's helped hundreds and hundreds of people become top-rated sellers, grow their business, and I know if you check it out, if you're trying to get up and running on Fiverr and get going, you'll absolutely love it. So there'll be a link below that you could check it out, and also you can go to VOsJourney.com. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. I get asked this question a lot, and it's kind of like a two-tiered question. You know, how do I deal with the time of working a full-time job and doing voiceover, and how do I transition into voiceover? And I suppose I could have made two videos on this topic, but we'll answer the two questions. And I'm sure you'll have a question for one of them. So the first one is, how do I manage my full-time job and trying to build a voiceover business? Well, when I first started in my voiceover journey, that's what I did. I had a full-time job. I, went to work at 6, got home around 5 each day, had to pick up the kids. My wife came home and, we basically had to make dinner. We had to, help the kids with their homework or whatever, read, spend a little bit of time together, put the kids to bed. Then I would spend about an hour or two with my wife and then put her to bed. And then I would, at the time, we had a very small house. So my booth I had to put it up and take it down every night. I called it my hobo fort. It was packing blankets, PVC pipe, and it was portable, so I could put it up. It was a 4x6 booth. So it was a pretty big booth. It wrapped around my desk, right? And I put it up and it had a roof and everything, and I had clamps for the packing blankets. And basically, I had to work from about 10 or 11 p.m. to 2 or 3 in the morning. And I did that for about 2 years. Now, I'm not saying that's the answer for everybody, but what I'm saying is that if you're having some time constraints, okay, this is what I found. If you're having some time constraints, you've got to set a specific time that you're going to work, and you need to set a specific actions that you're going to do every day. The more you approach this like a job, or like you have to do this time from this time, the more you're going to be able to plan and schedule out your day from when you work and when you don't work. And I kind of want to tell you, it's not the ugly truth, but that's what popped into my mind. But when I was building this business, and I'm still building the business now, but it's a lot different now because it's going. So when I was first starting, for the first 2 years, I give a lot of credit to my wife, my spouse, because I had to put a lot of our relationship time, my time with the kids, I had to put a lot of it on hold. I did a podcast a while back on a VO's Journey podcast about the ugly truth of success. And, in that podcast, I talked about what I actually went through to build this business and to get where I am now, where, I'm a full-time voice actor. I actually spend way more time with my family than I did when I was working a full-time job. But when I started, for the first 2 years, my wife, she was just as much a part of building my business as I was, because she ended up taking over a lot of responsibilities, of the kids, of different things on the weekends, because I would work each weekend, and she had a lot of faith in me. I'm sure there were times where she thought I was nuts, okay, but she had a lot of faith in me. But there were times where she was frustrated with me, and rightly so, because, this is a tough thing. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because I think a lot of times I get these questions, and people hope for a magic answer. Like, you just have to do this, this, and this, and that will fix all of your scheduling problems. It'll fix everything. But the reality is that there is no easy fix. In order to get something that you want, you've got to give something first, right? And that's the law of nature. It's the law of everything, okay? You've got to give before you receive. If you want to smile from someone, smile at them. By the way, on a side note, try that. It'll blow your mind. If you smile at someone, they'll just smile at you. They will. Okay? It's crazy. If you want to get punched by someone, punch them. I know those are silly, but the reality is if you want to get something, if you want to receive something, you got to give something. So in this case, you've got to give your time. You've got to give your energy. And it's not a easy thing, or it's not I'll do it whenever I get a chance. Now, you can do it. It's your business. It's how you want to do it. But you're going to have trouble growing a successful business if you can't put some time to it. And you might be like, well, Anthony, I just can't. I don't have the time. And that's okay. Then you spend 30 minutes. You spend an hour each day. You spend whatever time that you have, you dedicate that time. But something has got to give. Because if you want to build something else on top of everything that you currently have, you're going to have to give something. And if you have people, family in your life, they're going to have to give too. Whether it's their time with you, whether their interactions with you. I mean, it is the way it is. Okay? Now, you can limit that. You can mitigate it by your planning. Okay? But that's the reality. And I want to be upfront and open about that with you. It's not a bad thing, right? Because it's a limited time. I didn't know, but I had this feeling, if I could build this, it's limited, right? I want to leave my job. I want to, be in control of my schedule. And now I am, but it wasn't that way when I first started. I literally was working about 21 hours a day, right? I'd go to work, come home. Spending a few hours with my family was nice, but then I was getting right back to work for about 4 or 5 hours every night. And I hear a lot of times, Anthony, I can't do that. I can't do that. And that's okay. Like I said, if you just get an hour in a day, you get that hour in and you do what you need to do. Okay? But you cannot expect to build a business if you don't, or build a successful business, if you don't put in the time to be successful. And that leads to the other thing, which is the actions. It's just as important the types of actions you take, because you could work 8 hours a day and do absolutely nothing and work 8 hours, right? Or you could work an hour and do a whole bunch of stuff, all right? It's all relative depending on the actions you take. And I've done a lot of videos about those, and I'll keep doing videos about the types of actions that generate the work. Like in my Fiverr course that I just talked about earlier, that's the type of stuff, and all the other courses, the marketing course I have, those are the types of things that work. But the point I'm trying to make is that you've got to come to grips with the fact that you're going to have to give some time, and you're going to have to give up time with loved ones. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be like mean about it. I'm just being the honest truth. But if you give up time now, you're going to get a lot more time later. All right? It's that age-old thing. If you give now, you'll get more later down the road. Okay? Instead of getting it all now, and then you're always fighting down the road. Now, the other question was the transition into full-time, and I think, or into the voiceover business. You can approach this a whole bunch of different ways. But I just thought I'd slip this in here because it's kind of how the conversation went. But I wanted to make sure that I was making at least double the amount of money before I left my job. Why double? Well, it's because I thought that I would feel safe that I could lose up to 50% of my revenue and still be okay to pay the bills. That was my train of thought. And I also wanted to have money in savings. Right? I wanted to have like 6 months in savings so that in case something happened, I had money. Do you know what I mean? So there was all of these things to check off, which is so funny because we should approach our jobs that way too, now more than ever, right? Because you could lose your job just as anything else. But anyways, most of us don't. So the point I'm trying to make is that put some things in place where you're saying, I want to do this, this, and this to leave your job. and then make that happen. I'm not saying it's not scary. It is. That transition is very scary. But if you've put in the time in those years, and you and your family and everything, and you've made that sacrifice, okay, and you've built that and you've planned it, you're going to be able to do it. You're going to be fine. And it works. So many of us have. So many from people from a VO's journey have. It's absolutely wonderful. And I know you can do it. Listen, I'm going to talk more about that subject. We kind of went into this video about the other thing, which was, how to manage your time, which is so vital. So we all have to go. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you're not working a full-time job. You still have to manage your time. But it's very challenging with a full-time job. I'm not going to lie. And I look back on what I did before, and it would be hard-pressed. I would do it again, but it would be hard. I'm not saying it wasn't hard at the time, but a lot of it was new and interesting and exciting. But after a month or two, that kind of wore off, and it was, okay, this is a grind. This is, I haven't seen my family in a month. I haven't, I haven't seen much of them. I'm working. I mean, it was a lot. And I don't want to lie to you and say, it can be magical. Okay, it can be, but, overnight successes take years. It's a good quote. I don't know. I just say overnight successes takes years. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe and like and hit the bell notification so that you can be made aware when I post a video. And thank you as always for watching. You have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.